Hi guys, welcome back. So one of the first steps if you're thinking of buying a van and turning it into a camper is coming up with the layout.
Yeah, in fact, this needs to be considered before even buying a van.
Because, for example, if you're looking to get a sideways static bed, not all vans are wide enough to accommodate that.
If you're after some tips on the best van for you, click the card above or head to the link in the description below.
So today we are going to run through how we design our vans whilst coming up with the layout for Dork. Hi guys, we are Nick and Sam and this right here is Lord Onyx. We have been living and travelling in self-built camper vans since 2018 and between us we have converted 4 vans. For the past few series we have been vlogging our van life adventures which has taken us through Spain, Portugal, Scotland, Norway and Germany. But if you know anything about van life, a build is always calling. So this time around, Tara will be resting her wheels whilst we take on the challenge of building van number 5.
Step 1. This is all about what you want in your van.
So we're going to write down a list of everything we need in the van. So these are the absolutes, so stuff that you cannot live without. Next, I would write down a list of would likes. These are the things you would like to fit in your van if you can. At this point, you also may want to consider what you want out of your van. So do you want to use your side door or your back door for views or both?
As well as your kitchen, so you might want to have a fan above it, so then you even need to think about your roof layout as well. And
once this step is complete, you will have a list ready to tick off as you draw potential layouts. And if you aren't sure about all the appliances and bits you need in the van, we do have an ebook that covers all of this, so we will link that in the description below as well.
Step 2. Getting the measurements. Thing to note with measurements is that they change, so what you have on paper is likely to be a little off when it comes to the build.
So unless you know the exact appliances you're going to use or the thickness of the timber you're going to use, it's pretty impossible to know the exact measurements. So once you go to start building the van, that's when you just want to start double checking everything.
On top of these measurements, you want to decide how deep and high you want your units. So for example, our kitchen is built at 92 centimeters high and 55 centimeters deep.
Step 3, design some layouts. So when I start designing layouts, I always break the van down into square units. I know this doesn't always make sense to everyone, so hopefully the visuals will help you understand this. Even trying to explain it to Sam isn't the easiest. But the reason why I say square units is because, like, a sink needs a full unit, a fridge might need a full unit, your oven might need a full unit. Sometimes, like, you know, your sink has a waste trap that doesn't allow you to then have a fridge underneath because it's too much space. So everything for me I see in a unit. So a shower again is a unit, but it's floor to ceiling, and that's kind of how I see it. So hopefully you understand this.
So during this step, you will start to realise the things that do and don't work. For example, in Dork, if we want to accommodate a tall person, we cannot have the bed sideways, so we have to have it lengthways.
Yeah, there's the width of the van, although we haven't got the cladding and the insulation out yet. It is, I think, 6'2" on the dot. And we don't want to have to say to a 6'2" person that you're gonna like be really tight in the bed. We want everyone to have enough space. So yeah, we're going for a lengthways bed. So the bed is priority in this van. So we're gonna draw that in first and then work around it. Idea 1. Start with the sofa bed at the top of the van like this. Then this will be a little unit area. So then the side door will be here. Back doors are here. So we will put a storage unit there and there. So I'm thinking that I've got the measurements a little bit iffy, so we'll drag that down. So kitchen, we will need a sink, we will need a hob or an oven, and I'll put that here so it's next to the side door. We will then need a fridge, which can't fit under the sink because that's in the corner and it might fit under the hobs. And then we will also need to fit a toilet in. Windows, we could put them along here next to the side bed and on the barn doors here and here. Of course, have a bulkhead escape which will go in there for all of the ideas. And then in terms of the fan, we'll want that above the kitchen. So of course if the fan's there, you need to look out for the struts that go in the ceiling. It has to fit between those struts. And the solar will just work around the fans on the roof, but I'll just remove that for now because we'll just look at the actual inside of the van, so we can't see the roof layout. And then it's just for the electrics, which can basically fit anywhere. Idea number 2. We will move the sofa bed around. This is the side door, these are the back doors, this is the front of the van. We could have a corner kitchen unit like this, which means we've got storage all along here. There are wheel arches to bear in mind. So we could have the water closet like here, with the toilet inside. Again, if the toilet doesn't fit in, then we'll have to place it elsewhere. And it's likely it won't go under the trunks because when you're in bed, you then can't use the toilet. So it's more likely to go in the kitchen or something. But anyway, let's start positioning everything else. So sink, again, hobs near the door. Fridge could go underneath. Toilet could go in here somewhere, if not in the water closet. We'd then want some windows, again, on the back doors and on the side, maybe on the side windows. That's up to us how many we want to put in. We will of course have the escape hatch here. The fan can go here and the solar would then go on the back of the van like this. But of course, if we want decking, we need to bear in mind the positioning of the roof. We'll think about that a bit later. The gas locker, it's probably best to sit under the hobs actually, so the toilet can just move over to the next one here. And the electric cupboard, again, that can go in the back of the van, like here, like a little door, or it can slot into one of the trunks. Moving on to idea 3, we are just going to rotate the sofa bed around to here now. And it's basically a reflection of number 2. We're going to have a kitchen here. Back doors are here, side door is there. We will then be able to have, oh, that's a bit wonky, storage along there. Remember, there's wheel arches. That could be the water closet, kitchen, so hob, sink, gas can go in there, so toilet can go like here, fridge can go here or here, whichever one, it doesn't really matter. And what else do we need? We'll want a fan up here. Imagine if we had some nice decking on the roof. That would be beautiful. And then we could have solar that like go here and here. I don't know. We need to properly measure that up. And then talking about like the bed, actually, this is an L shape. We could easily have a pull-out section here to create a U-shaped sofa, and then a table would go there. Or we could have it as one big pull out, so that's up to us how we want to divide that up and how we want the table to go. We could also have like a table that slides out from here for you to sit here while the other person might want to lie down and enjoy the views out the back window. And then you need to bear in mind as well, when the bed is pulled out, so that would be fully taken up, you can't then access this storage unit at the bottom half. So we're thinking of doing sliding doors on the bottom half, and then the top half can be like a wardrobe. And that would be for the same for all of the vans that we've just drawn up. So idea 4. In mind, I have been thinking of layout ideas for ages, which is why we're just going to do 4 today, because I do have an idea in mind. So anyway, instead of doing a corner, we're going to just do a long length bed. We can have the corner kitchen again here. I've probably drawn that a little bit off. Let's get rid of that. And then we could have storage all along here. We're going for floor to ceiling storage for this whole bit, but again, you could just have more kitchen unit. But we're thinking again, toilet, so water closet, wheel arches. Again, you can have a pull-out section to make an L-shaped sofa, a corner sofa. You can have it up here and here. You can literally do what you want and just use it as a modular, or you could just have one big one that slides out. It's likely that under the bed we will have some trunks or drawers, and then the kitchen will just reflect the one up here. Have a sink in the corner, hobs, gas canister underneath, gas locker, and then the fridge can go here, the toilet can go here or here or here. So we literally have loads of space to play with when it comes to a medium wheelbase, because we are having the corner sofa. And then on all of these you may want to consider like overhead storage. Do you want it here? Do you want it running along the whole length? Obviously, if you're sitting on your sofa here, do you want to have storage over your head there? Maybe you could build it on the top of this bit, and on top of the bulkhead actually there is storage for us. So can we do something with that? Moving on to idea 2, you could have overhead storage along the back here, or even all along there, or maybe both. It's completely up to you, but I plan the overhead storage in at the very end, and once you know where everything else is going. So we did try and see what it would look like with a sideways bed, because you know I love them. I'm very lazy. So this is where the sideways bed would go, but of course if there's a bed in there, then you need somewhere for people to sit, and there'll be 2 people in the van, so here and here. So as you can see, that's 2 extra square units taken up that would have been combined with the bed. And I know some of you will say we'll remove the bulkhead, but we are bulkhead lovers, as we feel like that's what transforms the space from a van into a home. So the kitchen would probably go along here, where we'd need the hob, our sink, our fridge. We'd want a toilet, so we've got a space here that could either be for storage or for a water closet, so we'd have to sacrifice things from our would likes list. I do think the static bed would be better if you did involve the cab, because then you could do something like this that faces that way. Storage, water closet, kitchen, I'm just making it up, bed, table, seating here, something like that would work. But anyway, step 4, picking the best layout. When you're drawing your layouts, you'll probably realise which ones you just don't like as you're drawing them, and you'll probably find one that resonates with you the most. It'll be the one that fits all of your must-haves and most of your would-likes in. So for us, it is idea number 3, and we will go over it in more detail now. So we're going to draw out idea 3 in more detail, and this is what I meant by the square units before. Like, this is a kitchen. We know that this is our sofa bed here, and then this is the storage. So this is what is left for the hallway. But anyway, let's get down and dirty and draw this layout out properly. So we know the side door is here, we've got our back doors here, our sofa bed is going in first, which is going to be here, and then our kitchen is second priority, which will be built after and go there. And then that leaves this for our storage. We know that we've got some wheel arches that intrude into the van down here, and therefore the water closet can only be a certain size, which will go here. Now we need to position everything that we need in the van. So here's the sink and the tap. We will have hobs here. We will likely put the fridge under here instead of the gas, which I mentioned earlier. The toilet will go in here. If not, it will go there, but hopefully it should fit in to the water closet. So we're thinking the gas locker will need to go here with a fill-up point here, as the fill-up point can't go on the side of the van as there is a sliding door. We'll put gas, locker and fill-up on this side. We like the idea of having electrics cupboard, so we're thinking of doing it here so you can actually stand up and look at the electrics. Alternatively, if that doesn't fit, it can go here in the trunk. But for the purposes of this layout, we will just put everything in our preferred place. So the roof layout, we know we want a fan above the kitchen. And like I said, there are struts in the roof, so you need to make sure it slots in between there. To be honest, we would love a skylight on the back, so when people are sleeping in bed, they can stargaze, but we'll see if that will work, because we still need to fit the solar panels on, which I guess would then go here and here. We'd need to find sizes that fit into the slots. And we did mention we wanted decking, but by the looks of the space on the roof, it's probably not going to happen, so we'll probably scrap that idea until the end. Let's not forget the overhead storage. We would ideally like it in the kitchen, so you can put your spices and dried food up there, but worst case scenario, we'll put it at the back. But ideally we'd rather leave it free, because people will be sitting here and we don't want them to have limited space when they're sitting up. So that is the layout of our van, with all of our must-haves in and the majority of our would-likes. So yeah, this is the layout of our van. I'm sure we're adding some nifty things like pull-out tables and whatever later on, but this is just a guideline. It is not our absolute, as we keep saying. Once we start the build, that's when we'll start drawing up better specs of each item and getting exact measurements. But if we can hit this, I think we'll be pretty chuffed. So whilst we're talking about layouts, I know some of you guys will be looking at getting a small van. So here are a few tips when designing your layout for that. I assume you're going to go for a sofa bed, as you wouldn't be able to fit in a full bed. And when you're doing that, you need to make sure that you have a spare square on the floor at all times. So when you're making the bed, you have somewhere to stand inside, because it'd be a nightmare to have to do that outside, especially in the UK because it's just always raining. And then another thing to consider is the height of the bed.
Yep.
So you'd need to basically measure your body and what space you'd need, and then position the height of the bed to fit you in, basically.
So
Am I explaining that right?
Oh, yeah. Just so you can actually sit in the bed comfortably, so you're not arched, yeah?
Yeah, so there's a few tips on small van layouts. So moving on to step 5, marking it out. We're now going to mark it out in the van so you can get a better visual of what floor space you're using up. So we're just going to use tape and put it on the floor, but I know some people create cardboard cutouts, which is great if you need even more visuals, but for us, just a sketch and tape on the floor is perfect. So you can even draw a full CAD SketchUp actually on SketchUp, so we'll pop the link in the description for that too. So yeah, that is how we design our van layouts. For us, the layout is just a guideline. It's not an absolute, as things change as you start building the van.
Yeah, of course, and most people don't really know what materials they're going to be using until they get to that stage of the build.
Yeah.
So it's important to be a little bit flexible, yeah.
Yeah, stole your words again. Aww. So we now have our preferred layout. So next week, I guess it's time to start ripping the van apart.
Let's get stuck in with Dorking, guys. You know what to do. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. And we'll see you next week.
Ciao.